Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's 10 o'clock. We'll get started on the business of construction, what I call beyond technical. We'll talk about a lot of different things as we have been recently. We're going to open up to some questions and talk about what's going on right now within our own organization. I call it the ingredients for success, also known as our core values. Respond, resourceful, finding a way to get things done. Right now, it's tricky, but at the same time, we have a really large support staff, and our sales don't necessarily line up with that, which means we are over supporting our projects right now, which tends to mean you're not going to be a profitable company. So it's very important that we, and we're going to talk about this, are working on the right things, because it seems like everyone's very busy, but we're really not completing a lot of work. So somewhere there's a gap, and we're going to try to find that today. Respect, this is tough, because when you feel disrespected, it's oftentimes the easiest time to be disrespectful. Those are the times when we have to be most respectful. And it's usually because someone has something else going on in their own life that causes this issue or this concern. And so finding out or trying to find out what that is oftentimes will mitigate any issues and create that mutual form of respect to each other. And then reliable, we have to do what we say we're going to do. This has got to be, these four things have to be the core of what we do and who we are. We're a young company. As collectively, I think COM's been around for a little over 20 years. Electric's been around probably for about 6 or 7, and probably not even that. If I think Frank's the only person really that's been, Frank and maybe Carl, who have been here through that entire time. Mostly all of us have been here for probably 4 years or less. So Electric's really young company, and AUS is even a younger company. AUS is within the first year or two. So we're really a young company in the sense of being around in a reputation to our customers. And that matters. We sat down with customers. They want to know how long you've been around. And tell me the jobs you've done. You've got to prove to them that you can do their work before they're going to start giving us those really attractive projects. Our purpose is to build to improve lives, and with that comes responsibility. You might know the famous quote from the Spider-Man movie: with great power comes great responsibility. All of you have a manager of some sort in your title. By definition, that means that there is some responsibility tied to you. People's lives, people's careers are tied to you. You have a responsibility, which means all the things you do matter. And one of the things we have to work on is, and this is, I think, more of a societal thing, but it creeps into our lives, is it's easy to come up with excuses when things don't go our way. A mistake happens and we come up with an excuse. And the best way to rid yourself of learning is to come up with an excuse. We make a mistake, we own up to it, we fix it, we get better for it. But when you come up with an excuse, we lose that opportunity to learn. So we have a lot of things going on. We need responsibility at the highest level from all of our managers, leaders, and team members. Our SCG objectives is to create opportunities. So we every day we go out there looking for new opportunities. Our sales and bid team is busier than ever on all sides. And that is one of our objectives, to create more opportunities for our people. Create great experiences for our customers. Someone hires us, we want them to feel like, wow, that was an amazing experience I had with that construction company. And I hear these testimonials over and over and over again. The great experience our customers are having, both residentially and commercially and industrial and communication. People are really enjoying the experience they're having with their people. That's going to keep them coming back and telling others. We also want the unique services. This takes time. We have to earn the right to do unique services, those niche services for people. And then we want to get better. 1% better every day. You don't have to answer this out loud, but I want you to reflect on this question. Are you better today? Is your life better in some way than you were 5 years ago? If you can think back to 5 years ago and say, am I better today? And whether you put focus on getting better or you just got better, I can assure you probably almost everyone on this call is better in some way, shape, or form than they were 5 years ago. And that's what we're focusing on as a team. We get so hung up, I get so hung up on the day-to-day statistics. But what I really want to be able to do is step back and say, are we getting better? That's really what I want to know. Are we getting better each day? Action does not equal results. What that means is that saying that you did something does not necessarily provide us with the results we need to function as a company. I called and left a voicemail. That's good. What's better is we got the job. I saw it all the way through. I did some research. Better than that, I found a solution. I hear this one a lot. I worked really hard. I'm really busy. I'd rather hear we got it done. I read the book. Even better, I learned something that's going to help me or help us. And then the classic, but I did my best, which is often used by children and is okay to be used by children because oftentimes it is their best. They haven't learned enough. All of us are adults. I did my best works maybe once, maybe twice as an adult. But at that point, you've got to move past that and find a better way to do it. Whether that's you getting better or you finding someone else that can do it for you, we've got to eliminate that excuse, I did my best. Anybody hear this quote? Pressure is a privilege. Billie Jean King. Pressure is a privilege. Billie Jean King was a famous tennis player. What does that mean to you? Just think for a second. What do you think that means? What does it mean to you, Heather?
Pressure is a privilege. It means that somebody has trusted you enough to take on whatever you're taking on, and that you are honored to be in that position, and you now are responsible to live up to that. So pressure is a privilege. I like it.
That's really good. Yeah, that is exactly right. I mean, someone trusted you. They trusted you. Now you are trying to fulfill that or justify their reason for trusting you. What do you think, Jake?
Kind of like what Heather said, you've been given the opportunity, even though maybe you haven't earned it yet, based on your previous interactions and earning that trust with someone. So you've been, if you're not someone that is trustworthy or someone that they don't feel can handle the situation, you're never going to have pressure on. You're always just going to be coasting through, and the only way to be pressured or feel like, you have something on your shoulders is because you have that opportunity to.
Yeah, that's a great description. And we saw it a lot last night. If you watch the NFL draft, those young men who have been picked up early on are going to get paid tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, tremendous amount of pressure. Most of them will not succeed, unfortunately. They're great athletes, but the amount of pressure that's going to fall behind that price tag and that high draft pick by these NFL teams is going to take a lot from them. So again, it's something that you've got a sense of responsibility. Jimmy, what do you think?
First thing that came to my mind was not everybody gets a chance. Gets the chances that everybody on this call has gotten. And we all worked really hard to get to the places that we're at, but not everybody gets that chance. And then the second thing that came to my mind is earned. So again, along the same lines as not everybody gets this chance. We've all earned the position to have the pressure.
That's great. Yeah, not everybody gets that chance, and you have to earn it. And so I think that's a really great way of describing it and why it's a privilege, because kind of like what Jake said too, if they don't trust you or they don't believe you, and Heather mentioned this, then you're not going to ever really necessarily feel pressure. Anybody else have something they want to add to this? Something that is really settled in, a little different than what we've already heard.
People are relying on you. They're relying on you to remain calm under pressure, and they're counting on your expertise or your decision-making abilities when it counts.
Yeah. Someone's relying on you. And when someone relies on you and you feel pressure, what does that mean?
How are you going to handle that pressure?
It means that you care.
Yeah, it means you care. That's what I was kind of getting to. If you feel pressure, that means you care. If you sense that pressure, you care. Someone gave you money to do something, someone's paying you to do a job, and you start to sense a little bit of pressure, that means you care. If you don't care, it shows. Also means someone believes in you, kind of like what Heather said and Jimmy and Jake both touched on it, and even Brendan said it. But someone trusts you to do something. They believe in you. They think that you can be the person that can handle this. And because you care, you feel a little pressure. It means you have an opportunity. There's a lot of people out there who wish they had the pressure that we carry on in our daily lives and complain about often. And someday we'll no longer have pressure. There'll be no reason for us to get up in the morning other than to read the paper and drink a cup of coffee. Don't look forward to that. It sounds great, but you'll have your time. In the meanwhile, enjoy the sense of being uncomfortable. And if you feel pressure, it means you're uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable means growth. Slightly uncomfortable often means growing. If you're doing something that's a little outside of what you're comfortable with doing, you're uncomfortable, you're growing. This is an essential piece to all of our success, even in SGG, in our personal life. All right, so now we're going to do a thinker size. What is something that we do very well? As SGG, oftentimes we sit around and try to fix problems. I want to focus on something good. What is something that SGG does really well? Okay, Dawn, what is your final answer?
My final answer would be service.
Nope,
and
you're
taking
not
care of
answering.
customers.
You got to say, what is service and taking care of customers? I'm kidding, Dawn. You asked for the Jeopardy theme song. We gave it to you. I thought you'd play along. Okay. What do we do really well? Go ahead, Dawn. All jokes aside.
We take care of our customers. We service them. We get their jobs done for them. We go out of our way to make them happy and to make their lives easier.
Yep. Go out of our way to make them happy. I like that. Mike Marone.
I put down that we do the right thing and take responsibility for our actions.
Yeah. Doing the right thing and taking responsibility for actions in the short term is often painful. In the long term is going to be the foundation that keeps this company going for a long time. Thank you, Mike. Kurt Westover.
We're done empathy. We go out of our way to care about our employees, find out what is going on in their personal lives and take care of them when and where we can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really powerful one. And we have a lot of things going on right now. So many of our team members are struggling with something more than I think anybody realizes. When you have 180 people, the odds are we're going to have some issues, and we have a lot of them. So I tend to wear them, and it's quite a burden to carry. So the more support we can offer each other internally, it's very helpful. Josh Altman.
Yeah, so I went with staying positive. Like the overall market industry right now, it's not doing well. Yet we have a positive outlook and moving forward in the right direction. And still hiring, still moving, and having a positive outlook on our industry.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Josh. Sometimes that's an aspirational attitude because it can be challenging to be positive in certain circumstances. But if you can pull that off and stay positive, we know it's going to come around. There's a book out that just came out recently. It's called Same as Ever. And Morgan Housel basically explains how everything rolls through sequence. In other words, the market goes down, the market goes up. The market goes down, the market goes up. The market goes down. Everything has this ups and downs. Our life is built around ups and downs. So even when things are down, we know it's going to come back up. And when things are up, we know eventually it's going to go back down. So knowing that history continues to repeat itself in some fashion or another should tell us that it's not the end of the world. When we have things that are going bad, it's not the end. It's going to get better. And when things are really good, don't assume it'll always be that way. Good answer, Josh. Thank you. Annette.
Hi, Chris. Technical adoption, we seem to take challenges on, and I really get excited, especially with the dish microwave project. There was zero hesitation. Everybody jumped in with both feet to learn the new technology and what they had to do for Ceragon. And I really get excited to see that about our company, is that we're willing to take on the new technology, look at what is something new that we can do to jump into the future.
Yeah, that's really neat. That's a cool observation. If you've ever seen a freeze frame of water turning into ice, that kind of reminds me of our company, where all of a sudden we're like shooting off in all these different directions, doing things we've never done before. And again, that's why last year we did about 30 million. If you go back 5-6 years ago, we did about 6 or 7 million. So we are growing because we're willing to take on those new challenges, things we've never done before. And you think about that, every single thing we've in this company at one point in time, we've never done. Every single thing at one point in time, we had never done. So we continue to add on those new things that make us more valuable to our customers. Gina.
What I put down is that we're trusted by our customers, to do high quality work. We create a culture where people are cared about, and also where people have the opportunity to thrive. They have to do their part, but those opportunities are here. And we hold high standards. We don't compromise on our standards. I think that's important. And they say, character's who you are when nobody's watching. So I think we hold those high standards.
Yeah, very good. And being trusted by our customers in the culture, and then holding ourselves to higher standards, it makes us unique in that we do care about people. It doesn't mean we're perfect. That doesn't mean we're going to always have the right answer, but we do care. And we interviewed one of our electricians who is interested in coming into the office, and the comment he made is, of all the mistakes that we make, and the field feels like we make a lot of mistakes, they do really believe we care. So that's good to hear, that we really care about them as people. And that's what keeps them around in spite of their feelings about some of our technical expertise. Okay, how about Larry?
We never say no. We find a solution or give them where to go, how to get it, if we can't do it.
Yeah, that's very valuable. There's a lot of times you'll call and try to get something done. If you've ever called somebody to come to your house, and you'll be amazed how many people just say no, like, we don't do that, or no, we don't do it. And they stop right there. We had someone out to come sweep our chimney. They get out there, they say, well, we don't sweep chimneys, we just sweep the bottom of your fireplace. Big difference. So we got a $300 vacuuming of our fireplace, which I'm pretty sure Hayden could have done for nothing. So, but again, had no solutions to help us with our chimney. Now we're back to the drawing board. So when you're looking up a chimney sweep, make sure it doesn't say fireplace sweep as opposed to chimney. True story, just happened yesterday. But anyway, very resourceful. We got to find a way to get things done. We don't say no, we find a way. Ryan?
Larry, I pretty much
got mine. I was just saying we will always find a way of getting for the customers. We start the job, we follow through, we get the job completed in a timely manner for them, and that's every job we've done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one too, because believe it or not, and that's why there's retainage. That's why a lot of people don't trust contractors, is people have taken the money and stopped. We've never stopped. Even when we're in the middle of a job we know is going to lose money, we see it all the way to the end. That's very important. Good to know we're building a strong reputation. Okay. All right. Let's move on to another one. I got more questions for you. So if you didn't get your name called, don't worry, you will. Pareto's principle. 20% of tasks create 80% of our results. Anybody familiar with this concept? Think about that. 20% of what we do is probably creating 80% of the value that we actually create. We spend a lot of time doing things, but there's really probably 3 or 4 things that really bring value. We all know this. We all have task lists. My task list has 156 items on it, but I know there's probably 3 on there that are really important items. So I want you to take a minute. If you do 10 things daily, what are the 2 things that bring you the greatest value? Really want you to think about this from your job, the position you're at STG. What are those 2 things? And I'll give you an example. Let's say you're in business development. You know that making phone calls to customers is one of those things. You also know that cleaning up your office is good. It's important, but it's probably not going to bring you the most value or the company the most value. What are those 2 things? Okay, Brian's willing.
Emailing, calling customers / vendors, and performing accurate takeoffs in my field.
Yep. So calling customers and vendors and doing takeoffs, right? That you're an estimator. You know, when you do those 2 things day in, day out, you're going to be successful. There's a lot of things you could be doing or working on and have to do, but if you're doing those 2 things, you're successful. STG successful. Very good. Thank you. Roy.
Communications.
Be more specific.
Everything with communications, people have issues. You're going to find ways to resolve any type of issues they have, whether it's finding a solution to do it. You know, why are you doing what you're doing and how are we going to do it?
Okay. In your role, helping people resolve issues and solutions, you know, if you do that, he's going to be better off.
Because
right?
It's not just me. It could be any other team member. You make another team member, 1 team member a day, 1% better.
Yep. Okay. Make every team member 1% better. Help them in some capacity.
Yes.
Good. Brandon French.
I have planning that comes along with communicating the plan to whoever's on the site, and then loading.
Okay. So planning. How do you describe planning?
Knowing what goes into the job would help that. So diving into the drawings and talking about it with the foreman. See what needs to go into the job, what's not included on the drawings, getting the schedule of construction, just kind of getting the job ready to where you can just start and get a new job.
Yeah, that's one of the comments we hear from our field is that our PMs don't know the jobs. So getting into the projects, understanding the projects is a very important step. And if you know the job, the other things kind of fall in line, because having that in the back of your mind, understanding what's coming in that job, you'll be ready for anything that comes up. It'll be good. Thank you. Dan Etler.
One of the biggest things I've been doing is team support. So if I bring something in, I don't want to just drop it in somebody's lap and say, hey, here you go. Let me know when you're done. So in order to keep my relationship going with the customer and keep work rolling in, I think the supporting the team actually working on it is crucial. And then communicating results, communicating with the team, communicating with the customer to bring more work in.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's helping your team after you bring the job in to ensure that what you promise the customer actually comes to fruition. That's very important. And then staying in communication with our customers. That's what's going to, of course, bring new opportunities. Brendan Shaw.
I would say the in-home consultations when I'm meeting with people, just providing them the information they're looking for, giving them prices, and then the trade shows as well, just marketing for STG, getting out in front of the public and making people aware that we're here and that we're willing to do just about anything.
And trade shows don't come around very often. So yes, they are important. They're a small percentage of what you're going to do in a given year, but that is a really good way. You're out in front of the customer, meeting new people. So those are good. While there may not be trade shows going on every day, there are other ways for you to accomplish that. In-house consultation is one of them. Also supporting the marketing efforts. The Generator Service EV group utilizes marketing more than anybody else. Advertising and marketing, very, very powerful tool for that group. They should have more communication contact with our marketing team than anybody else. Brandon Getz.
Good morning. I put down interaction with the crews on a daily basis. Every morning, I try to be out there and help them in any way, shape, or form and have good interactions with them to keep their morale up.
Good. Yeah, interaction with the crews, communicating with them, building those relationships. One of the things I've learned about communication, because it's come up multiple times through a lot of the people that we've asked the question to, is that when oftentimes it's a break in communication or long breaks between communication that start to create conflict. And I think that comes a lot of times from we start to build up stories in our mind about what's really happening. And so we have this conversation, we don't talk to them for a week or two, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, things start building up, we talk to them, and then it blows out in the wrong way. So the more frequent we have communication of any style, the better off your relationship is going to be, I strongly believe. Jimmy.
All right, I put growing the team. That's the field team and the project team, making sure that we're growing either to support projects or growing them personally to make sure they can handle the workload, managing their workload with them, make sure they're working on the right things, and then driving the schedule. That's a little bit of sales, a little bit of project management, just making sure everybody on our roster is working every day. And if there's any holes, getting with the appropriate PM or whoever that may be to try to fill that gap.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yeah. Help and grow the team. And of course, the position within your organization is going to dictate your opportunities to do that. But you're in a good position to help grow your team. And then that schedule is also important. When you think about what we're trying to do, we're trying to serve the customer. We're also trying to make sure that our team members have a place to go. So when you're driving that schedule, making sure that it is filled out, we're serving both. We're making sure the customers have somebody coming out there. We're making sure our people have a place to work. So very, very impactful. Well, for those that didn't get a chance to share, what I would suggest too is that while we're all using timesheets and everyone on this call is using a timesheet, should be turning in their weekly timesheet, maybe use that timesheet to reflect on your week. Look at your calendar at the end of each week when you're filling out your timesheet, go through there and say, am I doing those two most impactful things? How much time am I investing into the two most impactful things? And I know I kind of sprung it on you and asked you to answer in 2 minutes, but reflect on that. Am I working on the most important things, and what are the most important things? And then put those on your timesheet and you, for your own good. Now, I'm not saying for, turn it in, but think about what are the things I could be doing to benefit this company, to benefit myself, that are going to have the greatest impact. And then make sure we're dedicating time for that. Okay, leadership. Leadership, the word gets thrown around a lot these days, and it means a lot of different things to different people in different situations. So I want you to think about, first of all, what does leadership mean? Just throw out some answers. What does it mean? Just one word answers that equate to leadership.
Trustworthy.
Integrity.
Integrity.
Humbly confident.
Humbly confident.
To have vision.
Vision.
Compassion.
Listener. Compassion. Successful.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Oh,
Flexibility.
Inspirational.
Inspirational. Good one. Lean on others. 3 words, but we'll take it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Optimistic.
Optimistic.
Adaptability.
Adaptable. Available.
Help others reach their full potential.
Whoa. Help others reach their full potential. That's a good one. That's very good. Mentor. Yep. That's a good way of describing that sentence. Yep.
Influential.
Influential. Tim said caring, but I want to pause on influential. Influential is the way John Maxwell is a famous author and coach and former pastor of a church, but he describes leadership as influential, as influence. So leadership doesn't always necessarily mean good or bad. There's a lot of people in our history that have been leaders, influential, but maybe for the wrong cause, or as we see it as the wrong cause. So having influence is a great way of describing leadership. And all those things you guys called out there are examples of how people see leadership, which means it's not as one simple answer. But at the end of the day, it's about influence. What influence are you having on others? Leadership typically means someone else is involved. You can't be a leader of one. Now, you can lead your own life and of course, protect it. But leadership as a whole, leadership means you're guiding something or someone or other people. You're being influential or an influencer. So the question I ask you then is, are you a leader? Are you being a leader? You heard all the things that we're talking about. We need more leaders. And I'm going to say this forever. That doesn't have anything to do with our current status, but moving this company forward and growing and taking on the challenges, we need as many leaders as we can get all the time. And so when you think about all those character traits, one of the things that John Maxwell challenged people to do was he said, go into your journal or notebook and write down 100 positive things about yourself. 100 positive things. Not an easy task. You got to make up things. Like, I'm really pink as hue. You got to come up with new ways to describe yourself, but you got to find 100 positive things. And it's a good exercise to kind of reflect on who you are. And do you mind writing those things down you just mentioned? Internally, are you okay with writing honest? Are you okay with writing influential? Are you okay with writing optimistic? Are you okay with writing positive about yourself? Do you believe those things? It's a good exercise. It's a good challenge. I think you'll find it very rewarding. And don't use Google to find like words. Okay, I'm going to close up early today. We all got a lot of things going on. I just want to keep it just going down this path. Continue to work on you. The most impactful thing you can do every day for you and for everybody around you is to build you. Sharpen your axe. How can you get better? How can you improve your abilities for the benefit of others? We can't give up. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting. Things aren't perfect right now. They will get better. They always do. It's same as ever, but we got to keep fighting. So I thank all of you for spending time here. I use this other 17 minutes or so to reflect on some of the things we talked about, maybe even do the challenge, but time invested into you will never be wasted. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.